Part two of our exclusive series on the booming market in China looks at the biggest problem created by the exploding economy, pollution. Up until now, the Chinese government has placed little importance on environmental concerns, and the city of Beijing has paid for it. Now, with the world coming for the Summer Games, China is scrambling to make sure its visitors can breathe while they're cheering on the athletes. Brian Coxford reports once again from Beijing.
The sounds of frustration. It's like the Beijing Symphony of Discontent. Horns honking, signaling the stress of rush hour, which is more like crawl hour, and it stretches throughout the day. There are now about 3.3 million vehicles on the road in the capital of the world's fastest growing economy, and that number changes every day.
Traffic jam during the rush hour is like a big park sometimes, but it's getting, better because now the principal and the municipal government, they know how to, now they realize traffic is very, very important thing.
With the cars and trucks, 80% of them privately owned, comes pollution. Beijing, in some reports, has been called the most air-polluted city in the world. China has now overtaken the U.S. as the world's top carbon polluter. The smog and how to control it in Beijing is the biggest problem facing organizers of the Summer Olympics.
The sign over my shoulder on that building appropriately reads Auto Trading Company. And the automobile is really one of the big stories here in Beijing. 1,500 a day, over 40,000 new automobiles on the road every month. That, of course, creates problems, pollution. And with the Olympics coming up, they have to do something about it. So the plan is to restrict automobiles according to license plates on odd or even days. That'll reduce pollution and also close all the factories around Beijing during the Olympics.
In addition to auto emissions, the air pollutants roll in from outlying factories and other cities. And because Beijing is situated in a natural bowl, it seems to be a magnet for them. The government also plans to literally change the weather during the Games, giving us a better view of its impressive skyline by shooting iodine pellets into the air at night, seeding the clouds, causing rain to clear the skies the next day. Authorities have already experimented with weather-altering methods here and in outlying areas to encourage agriculture, and claims it can put a clear focus on the Games.
Other even days, that's control half of the car, so because they did that before one time as a test, it's very good. So, of course, it's make my daily work a little bit harder, but I will support that.
And they'll close the factories to reduce pollution as well, right?
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Other measures ordered to reduce pollution. Only lower emission buses and taxis will be allowed on the road during the Games. Heavy trucks are restricted to night-only travel in the city. Nearly 79,000 state-owned taxis with lower emissions have replaced older ones. And Beijing now requires its factories and power plants to burn cleaner, low-sulfur coal.
I think the pollution is going to get better and better. And same time, as individual, we realize we should contribute into the environment. So there's a big concept changing.
There are 400 million young people in China, more than the total populations of the U.S. and Canada combined, many living in some of the most polluted cities. The World Bank says 16 of the top 20 polluted cities are in China. The bank also reported air and water pollution contributes to up to 750,000 deaths in the country every year, which makes the greening of Beijing a goal that can't stop with the Olympics.
Like China, like Sharon Lee, we understand how important trees are. They clean our air, they sequester carbon, they manage our water, they give us oxygen. They are critical to the quality of life that we all live.
Premier Campbell was in a brand new 11 square kilometer forest during his business summit visit to Beijing earlier this month. It's an Olympic park with 800,000 trees planted as a green initiative for the Summer Games. 160,000 of the trees planted by Sharon Lee, a Beijing and Richmond resident, on 100 hectares of land she donated. Beijing is also planting lots of carbon-consuming plants and trees throughout the city. There seems little doubt the Chinese will control pollution and the sun will shine on the Olympics. The bigger problem is how to deal with the hazardous smog after the flame goes out.
Tomorrow night, we'll take a close look at one of the most spectacular Olympic sites in Beijing, the amazing Water Cube, site of the aquatics competition. And we'll tell you about a BC connection.